I am living La Vida Mocha this morning. It is so good. Good morning, everybody. Live to Montpelier on what some Vermonters are doing to help North Carolina this morning. Details on what's happening at Kreiz Arena this weekend over in Northfield. We have a lot to get to, a lot to talk about this morning. Fly in the Wall Productions, bringing you live on Facebook and YouTube. We've got some sidewalk construction going on out here. I think is just off camera, but still, nonetheless, a lot of noise outside on North Main Street this morning. Facebook and YouTube, where we're live and streamed everywhere. You get your podcasts, and of course on the web at airedout.vt.com. National Taco Day, National Hair Day. You do not want to see what's under this cap. Also, National Pumpkin Spice Day today. I know there are fans, and I know there are haters. My brother is one of the haters. Try to get him to drink a pumpkin beer, Pumpkinhead from Shipyard, which is one of my favorites. Wanted nothing to do with it. Then called me all kinds of names and everything for drinking that stuff, which, again, I love. Whatever. Weather from NBC5. We have some early morning fog that's going to be burning off to a mix of sun and clouds today and around 66 degrees. Partly cloudy and 47 tonight, 61 and mostly cloudy tomorrow on Wednesday. Speaking of Wednesday, tomorrow is Wellness Wednesday from Washington County Mental Health. Yes, tomorrow. You should get it on your calendar. Central Vermont is talking about it. We're excited about it. It started a few years ago and has just exploded in popularity. Do not miss the next one tomorrow. Come on out, relax, unwind, treat yourself to a little bit of free peace from 4:30 until 7 o'clock upstairs at Wellspace. That's 23 Summer Street here in Barrie. But yeah, acupuncture, mindfulness, meditation. They're serving up tea as always, and all services, again, are free. For the chair and table massage, for Reiki, for myofascial body release, you're going to want to make a reservation. Again, it's free, but call Robin ahead today if you can, or tomorrow before 4:30, and get a spot. 479-4055. 479-4055 to reserve your time. But Washington County Mental Health, yes, one of our presenting sponsors, has been for a long time, serving our Central Vermont community for a long time as well. We're talking about 60 years and over 6,000 Vermonters every year that benefit in some way, shape, or form from Washington County Mental Health. Find them on Facebook, too, WCMHS. Birthdays today. Yes, I see Jimmy Carter is 100. And, of course, Julie Andrews is 89 years old today. Put a nice quote up on the JD page from Julie Andrews. Love that lady. Chris Emerson on the birthday list today, along with Jeff Shannon, Carol Chase, Sam Jackman, Shirley Houghton, Cody LaPlante, Dave Hurley, Chris Hood, Linda Kelly, Philip Hyde. Happy birthday to all of you. Facebook question of the day. Posted this up a bit ago this morning. I'd love to see what you have to say about this subject. And this is what I wrote. Marijuana has come a long way on the road to legitimacy in the United States, and it's on the verge of being reclassified still as a, quote, less dangerous drug. What do you think about this? And what do you think this will mean for the average American? I have reached out to the Cannabis Control Board. There's been an awful lot of activity in the news lately about this here in Vermont. And we'll see what we can get and see if we can get them on the air here with the Cannabis Control Board basically freezing applications for towns to apply for licensing for retail. I'm going to try to connect in right now with an amazing lady who is doing so much in Montpelier, the director of communications for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Kristen Lajeunesse. Are you with us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. I know the American Red Cross has been sending down volunteers from Vermont and New Hampshire and New York, all across the region, to help a span of, 500 miles of devastation.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Affecting, 6, maybe 7 states now, from what I'm told. But what are you doing in Montpelier? You're doing some great stuff, and you were in the news this morning on WCAX.
Yeah, we're really excited. Vermonters love to serve, and we can't all go down to the disaster site, right? But there are some things that we can do at home. We're teaming up with Crisis Cleanup, and their website is crisiscleanup.org. And we're calling for volunteers to join us, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Vermont, in helping to receive those calls from people who are in need of cleanup, whether it's in their yard or they need help mucking out because they had 4 feet of water in their home. But people can do a lot of good just by being here, sitting in their home. If they have access to a phone and a computer, they can take calls and help alleviate that stress of where do I turn for help. And we're connecting. That Crisis Cleanup connects people to volunteer organizations like the Red Cross and others who are on the ground who can help with that physical labor.
All right, crisiscleanup.org.
Yes.
And, what I saw yesterday, the reaction from Vermont, and this, of course, hits so near and dear to us here in Vermont. Mm-hmm. And we have very permanent and powerful memories of what folks down south, including Samaritan's Purse, yes, which is, headquartered out of Western North Carolina in those hills. What they did for us here in Vermont. And there are so many Vermonters that are feeling like they passionately want to return the favors, but not all of us can just leave our jobs, jump in our cars,
right,
grab some muck boots and go down there. So it's hard for us.
It is, and it's heart-wrenching, right? When you see the video clips and you hear the stories of people who have survived and need help. But yeah, it's just as easy if you have an internet connection at home, you can take a phone call, write down take their address and their name, exactly what it is that they need at their address, and then you save it in the system. And then those organizations like the Southern Baptists or the Mennonites or the Red Cross or whatever VOAD groups that they have in their area that are able to go and meet those needs in person, then they're connected in that way. And so it's just another way to make a difference.
Some of these most of these communities in those hills are just gone. I mean, they've disappeared.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen the pictures, but is it rescue or is it recovery at this point? Is I think one of the big questions.
I think, the last that I saw, we have even teams from Vermont, right? Our Swiftwater rescue team is down there trying to rescue people who are stuck in the mud and the debris. I think right now it's a little bit of both, but it will quickly turn into, recovery. I mean, we've seen that here, even in Vermont. I mean, things are pretty bleak, and every little help that anybody can do will help.
Kristen, what are you doing at the church in terms of outreach, or are you making the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Montpelier? Are you making yourself available to Vermonters who have questions if they want some FaceTime with you or anyone from the church to say, hey, we want to help, we want to pray. What's happening? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so right now it's a virtual help. We're happy to help facilitate getting connected with Crisis Cleanup. If there's a need and people want to get together to pray or to worship together, we're happy to do that as well. We will be hosting a webinar tonight at 7 p.m. and I think I sent you the link to that, JD. But
Yes.
that'll be more informational about how to work within Crisis Cleanup and how easy it is to take a phone call from somebody in need. But if people want to reach out, you can certainly share my email address with that link, and I'm happy to talk to anybody who wants to help.
Are you able to give that email address right now?
Sure. It's LaJeunesse K, so it's LAJEUN as in Nancy, ESSEK at COMM churchofjesuschrist.org. It's a bit of a mouthful, but
I've got it right here. I've got it, and I'm going to put that up in the comments section right now. So if folks want to reach out to you and get in touch,
yeah, we're happy to have people help us. Again, a webinar tonight at 7 p.m. You'll share the link with my email address, and I'm happy to answer any other questions people have about Crisis Cleanup or about other help that they want to get involved with.
Thank you again, Kristen, so much.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful what they're doing there. And again, crisiscleanup.org is the site. Thank you, Kristen. I know Mike Cannon, the project manager for the Vermont Urban Search and Rescue, spent the whole day yesterday in Asheville, North Carolina, originally going down to Florida, but they have shifted efforts up to the northwest, recovering bodies of people trapped in buildings that were swept away by floodwaters and still searching for missing individuals. Vermont Urban Search and Rescue, some of the first responders to the destruction in Asheville. And what they've been exposed to, what they have seen and witnessed is unspeakable. They have canine units that are there as well, still searching for trapped individuals. So again, the Red Cross from the whole region is sending volunteers down to these 6 states. We're talking about a 500-mile swath of destruction. I mean, this was a absolutely historic storm down there. We have dozens of sexual abuse cases going on with Vermont's Catholic Diocese, who has filed for bankruptcy after decades of cases and dozens of settlements. The Catholic Diocese fears that it will not be able to compensate all of the survivors, according to court paperwork. Big story that's in the news this morning. If you care to read about that, and I don't know, I kind of brush past that one. It's bothersome for me to read about that stuff, but this is something that has been in the news for a long time. Wow. We have family shelters. Digger's got this story this morning that are scarce as hundreds of children and caregivers exit motels. That's the headline. According to state data, 1,722 unhoused students enrolled in Vermont public schools last year. That's a 70% increase from just a few years ago. And yet there are still people that are speaking out on social media saying, Vermont doesn't have a housing problem. Okay. Prosecutor drops DUI charge against Bennington lawmaker after completion of program. That's the headline also in Digger this morning about Representative Jim Carroll, who was arrested in February on suspicion of driving under the influence of alcohol following a traffic stop outside where? The Vermont State House. You can read all about that one this morning. Got it posted up for you. Times-Argus has the story about a Massachusetts man who has been sentenced to, I hope you're sitting down so you don't fall over on this one, 30 months. 30 months behind bars for running a major fentanyl distribution operation out of an Airbnb in Waterbury, Vermont. So he's going to go to the big house for just over 2 years. Maybe there's more to the story that I'm not aware of. I don't know. This kind of stuff in Vermont, man. I don't get it. We have, let's see, 3 residents in Plainfield vying for the open seat on the select board. That's on there. We have our city manager, Nicholas Storelli Castro, here in Berry City. And the headline on the Times-Argus reads, if you want to Storelli Castro wants to test drive relaxed winter parking ban. And the byline here, Granite City residents may not have to cram their vehicles into 2 small driveways all winter long, thanks to new rules that are now being crafted for a parking ban that will go into effect next month. So there's more on this. Read about it in the Times-Argus. But yeah, next month. That's when that all, can you believe it? Snow's going to be flying soon. National headlines, of course, first and foremost, the death toll from Hurricane Helene has reached at least 130. And of course, there are fears that the number will continue to rise. Hundreds of people have been reported missing, perhaps unable to leave their location or unable to contact family, where communications infrastructure is just gone or in just shreds. More than 2 million customers are still without power across southeastern United States as of this morning, according to poweroutage.us. Extensive damage to roads, electric grids, isolating a lot of these communities, these remote communities, and not allowing vital supplies to make their way into residents. Horrible. Some emergency crews are relying on radio communications until mobile cell towers can be established. And the ham radio operators that are down there are just, they're everywhere. It is unbelievable to read this. Verizon has confirmed that its cell service was restored after that big outage yesterday just sparked a flurry of customer complaints across the United States. Can you imagine working for Verizon and taking the heat in that? Unbelievable. An inability to connect to the network is what they're saying. That was the problem. So many customers stuck in the SOS mode for hours, only allowing emergency calls via satellite. 100,000 reports from customers. 100,000. The FCC says that they're investigating this and re-examining the cause of the disruption. The scope of it is ridiculous. It's huge. 100,000. We need our cell phones. so much. We have about 45,000, maybe even more, dock workers across 36 East and Gulf Coast ports that started striking after their contract expired early this morning. This is the first such strike in the United States since 1977. And this strike could disrupt supply chains and cause delays. The union is allegedly requesting a $5 an hour raise. I don't know. This is me. I'm just reading more here. Union members with 6 or more years of experience currently earn $39 an hour. So they want another $5. Will this cause a disruption in the supply chain here in the United States, Eastern Seaboard? We'll see. But I did a little bit of homework on this and learned that East and Gulf coasts handle about 68% of containerized exports and more than 56% of imports. 68% exports, 56% imports. I would say that there's probably going to be a little delay in a supply chain here in the near future. Analysts estimate losses to the U.S. economy because of this could be $5 billion per day. $5 billion a day. And we thought Boeing had a problem. Wow. The other big story in the nation this morning, a Georgia judge has struck down the state's 2022 6-week abortion ban. And that one right there is rippling through social media and everywhere. It's all over the tube this morning. Let's jump into some world news. Israel begins limited ground raids against Iran-backed Hezbollah militants near the border in Lebanon ahead of its imminent ground invasion. That's probably the biggest world headline right now. We have 1 year from now, 4 astronauts going to be partaking in the first human flight to the moon in over 50 years, traveling not just to the moon, but around it. The furthest distance humans have ever gone from Earth, and that's supposed to be taking place in, 6 years from now, I think is what they said, 2030. The Chinese are going to be doing that. And believe me, I've seen the comments on social media. It's not true. It's never going to happen. We'll see. Monday Night Football, Titans beat the Dolphins 31-12. Lions beat the Seahawks 42-29 last night. Let's see. Major League Baseball postseason kicks off today with the Wild Card Series. And I've got the playoff previews and predictions all up on the Aired Out Facebook page this morning. WNBA playoff semifinals are underway. Latest playoff brackets and schedule also on the Aired Out page this morning as well. We have 17-time Major League All-Star Pete Rose dying yesterday at the age of 83. No cause of death was given. But this guy had a career, over 24-season career. He was unbelievable. Also, a very talented bettor. Boy, I remember that whole thing. What was that? Early 80s, I think. But amazing. Pete Rose, no longer with us. LeBron James and his son Bronny sharing Lakers uniforms yesterday, media day. The first ever father-son duo to play together on an NBA team. Bronny is just 19 years old. Amazing. Yes, and a legendary basketball player has died from cancer. He was just 58 years old. Lawrence Seiler has more on that.
Good morning, Air It Out community and Ableton on Air Live. See if I can pronounce this correctly. Dikembe Mutombo was larger than life. He died at 58. According to the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver said in a statement posted on X yesterday. On the court, he was the greatest shot blockers and defensive players in history of the NBA. Off the floor, he poured his heart and soul into helping others. According to the NBA, Mutombo was surrounded by family when he passed away, and he had passed away, according to the NBA, he revealed 2 years ago he was undergoing a treatment, cancer treatment in Atlanta for a brain tumor. He was one of the best defensive players, and he spent 18 seasons in the organization for Denver, Atlanta, Houston, and Philadelphia, as well as New York and the New Jersey Nets. He stood 7'2", and he was the center out of Georgetown, and he was the best defensive all-star defensive player of the year. Such a great person, JD, and he also had 10.3 rebounds per game for his career. Such a loss for the NBA. He spoke 9 languages and founded the Dikembe Mutombo Foundation in 1997, and he was concentrating on improving health, education, and quality of life for people in the Congo.
Wow.
And he also served as NBA's first global ambassador, according to the NBA Commissioner Silver.
All right.
Such a wonderful person, such a loss in our sports world.
Yeah. Lawrence, nice tribute right there to him. And, of course, we're going to get the link up on this, up on the Aired Out page. We're losing some real legends. We really are, not just in the sports world, but the music world. I mean, we just lost Chris Christopherson. I mean, it's just amazing. It's really quite sad. Speaking of sports, and as you know, Ableton on Air, Lawrence has been doing this for a long time and really advocates very powerfully for folks with disabilities in any shape or form that folks with disabilities need to put their best foot forward and get on with living life to their fullest. And man, is this guy right here, John Sell. You are a remarkable dad, and what you do for your son Christian is unbelievable. You and Wendy both.
Well, yeah, I was going to say we do it as a team, and we don't do it for any other reason except he's our son and deserves the best opportunities that we can afford.
Well, we're gonna talk about what's happening at Kreiz arena this weekend.
Yep.
Which you're going to give us all the details on this. We're talking about sled hockey. But first, your son Christian, tell our listeners, and you've been on aired out in the past talking about this. What is his diagnosis?
So Christian was diagnosed at age 23 with Moa-Wilson syndrome, which is an ultra-rare genetic disorder. And in hindsight, we're kind of happy that it wasn't when he was a year old, because we pushed for those 23 years and actually beyond, because he's 32 now, for him to get the highest grade of services. And what we've found, because I'm on the board of directors of what he has, is that in some parts of the country, the kids are denied services in public school because one of the hallmarks of this genetic disorder is that the kids don't speak. So the kids are routinely denied speech services, because why would you give speech services if your child's not going to speak? Well, Christian is an example of, he might not speak like you and me, but he can articulate his needs, and his needs are hockey.
Yes. The H word is the hockey word. That's the word that that comes out of his mouth probably more than anything else.
It is. So music and hockey are his life.
Yes.
But hockey, he will ask everybody. So if we go to any other sport, he asks, "Do you play hockey?
You play hockey?"
That's it. Because he wants to know.
And I've said to him, I'm like, dude, do I look like I play hockey?
Well, do I? No,
Right.
I take pictures. But his whole life, he was a spectator at a sport that in his heart he knew he should be able to do.
Right.
But his ankles would not support. We got him skates that were specially made for him.
Yep.
And it just his ankles could not. They were constantly turned, and it just wasn't going to work. And then a couple of local sled hockey players, John McCardle and Sandy Craig, had tried for a couple of years to get us involved in sled hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And we finally got around to it. And in 2020, he got his first sled.
Mm-hmm.
The problem there was that 1 week after his sled arrived, and he now, every single time he sees a UPS truck, it's somebody's getting a sled.
Oh.
Every time. So they stopped at our house yesterday, and he was all excited. He was getting another sled. So everything is about that. But so the rink's all closed for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So that winter we built a rink at our house. It wasn't huge. It was 22 by 32 feet.
That's huge.
And he got to use his sled at home. And in any case, the following year, the hockey rinks were open, and he got to go on the ice for the first time. And he is he is a registered USA hockey player. He's an honest-to-God hockey player. He's on the Central Vermont Pioneer team. And
wow.
that team is truly amazing. So it isn't just, this is what we're trying to get awareness for. Sled hockey is for everybody. You do not have to be disabled. It is a Paralympic sport, but you do not have to be disabled to play. We have 3 father and son teams, father and son groups.
That's got to be a huge takeaway right there. The fact that you don't have to have a physical impairment or disability to be part of this.
You don't. And so I want to say it was 2 years ago, the UVM men's hockey coach who had coached up in Canada, but he brought a couple of their captains and an assistant captain down to one of our practices, and he thought it would be great for the students, and it was, except they lasted about 20 minutes, and then they had to get off the ice because their legs cramped up. And then they got back on the ice, and he was really excited about the fact that they were really into this. and had said that he could see them coming down maybe once a month and helping out. Well, that didn't happen, and it didn't happen because they were kind of worthless at UVM practices for the following 2 to 3 days because they used muscles they hadn't used.
Yeah.
And
isn't that amazing?
When you see the guys on the ice, it's really amazing. And like I said, for Christian, Saturday night when he goes to bed, it's all about sled hockey. And he sleeps in bed. He's got his jersey next to him. And when he gets up on Sundays are all about sled hockey. And so he has practice every Sunday at 2:30. And, he couldn't be more animated, pumped, and excited.
Oh, yeah.
So you take what a regular kid would do, and now he gets to be a regular kid.
We're going to talk about this scrimmage that's coming up on Sunday. But first, the 4th of July parade through Montpelier, the reception that not only Christian got, but his other players on sled hockey and others that were part of that was amazing.
He always wants to be part of the parade. The problem is when you're part of the parade, you don't get to watch the parade.
Right.
So we usually start at the very beginning, and we're on the sideline, literally 50 feet from the starting point, so that he can watch the parade go by, and then he joins his team in the parade. And he is, and there too, we got a set of wheels for his sled, because in the winter it has blades because it's on ice.
Sure.
And he there's nothing he likes more than to give people knuckles. And,
I know. And you guys mounted up a couple of GoPros and had video footage of
my brother-in-law Dan is quite handy with that. And
that was produced. I saw it somewhere. I don't know where, but where can folks watch that?
Well, on my Facebook page.
Is it on? It's on your page.
Yeah, it is.
John Sell.
Yeah.
SELL.
Yes.
All right.
And
it's awesome. Will you share that back?
I will. I can
to
share
me,
with you.
and then I'll put it on aired out so people can see that.
Sled hockey, for most of the population, they have no clue that it even exists. And then the next thing is that it's a sport for the disabled, so people bypass it.
Sure.
And
we have to stop that.
Well, and that's so for the last year, because we initially started talking with Norwich about this last year, but we've done this at Norwich before, and the players, as the UVM ones, they become not worthless, but they become, they're in pain and they can't really practice. So the coaches agreed that they both thought it was a great idea. Cam, the men's coach, and Sophie, the women's coach, agreed that they thought it was great, and the student athletes were all for it, but it had to be preseason, which is why this weekend worked, and here we are. So
it's this scrimmage is taking place Sunday, this coming Sunday.
This coming Sunday at 3:15
at Kreiz.
And there too, they had asked, do we want it to be at our home rink, which is at the Civic Center in Montpelier? And I said no. I said, really, for our players, it's really awesome to be able to play on Norwich's ice, and we want the Norwich community to be able to attend if they would like that, and that's what we're hoping for is an awareness. So the first two periods is going to be a scrimmage where it'll be a co-ed on their side, and we're just going to play, and have fun. And then the third period is kind of set up so that anybody that wants to come down and try it should just come down and try it. Get in a sled and get out there.
You have a player that drives over 2 hours all the way from New York.
So what really blows my mind is that there's no team in the Plattsburgh area or really in the Burlington area for this player. So they're like 45 minutes west of Plattsburgh, and they drive every Sunday. It's their entire day. They drive 2+ hours each direction so that their son can be on the team. Wow. And
God,
we've got another player from Lyme, New Hampshire, and it's the same thing. They drive over an hour just so that their child can be part of a team. And, we live in Barrie, and our team is right next door.
I love this.
So we are really, really, really fortunate to be able to do this. Part of Sunday's thing is so the scrimmage is free, so anybody can go. We are hoping to make it a fundraiser of sorts because our team is self-funded.
Yes.
It's family and friends only that donate, and I mean, ice time is expensive.
Sure it is.
We pay $450 every single Sunday for ice time. And so we're paying $14,000 a year for
Kreizberg.
No, because our regular we're in Montpelier.
Okay.
And I mean, that takes a lot of fundraising, and right now we're trying to get into the fundraising mode, and we would love if Norwich or if somebody would step up and help us.
Yeah. Dare I say, I would love to see there be no charge.
And, and we're not looking for a handout per se, but it's really, really hard when, our sleds are between $1,000 and $1,200 a piece. So,
Yep.
it comes at quite a cost. Hockey's an expensive sport, but when you talk to the kids, especially the disabled ones, who weren't disabled but now are, it's an equalizer. It allows them to do something that everybody else can do.
Yeah.
And the rules in sled hockey are no different than they are in stand-up hockey. You can check. You can, go on YouTube and Google or YouTube sled hockey hits, and you'll see some pretty.
Really?
These guys are really, really physical, and a lot of them don't. Spina bifida is big. I think we've got 3 or 4 players that were born with spina bifida, but they're out there.
Yeah.
Competing and doing a great job.
Aggressively.
Yes.
I think that's fantastic. What about WCAX or any media?
Well, so I met Darren Perrin from WCX this summer at a Mountaineers game, and we talked briefly about it, and he said, when and if you get this coordinated, he would be interested. And so I did send him the same little blurb that I sent you, and he jumped on board, and so he's hoping to have their weekend crew there. And again, it amazes me that in central Vermont we have this opportunity, and anybody can come down in Montpelier and try it, and we have extra sleds they can try. But a place like Burlington and Plattsburgh,
Sure,
they don't. And that makes it really difficult, too, for us because we have our team split into 2. We have basically a home team or a rec team, and we have a travel team, and the travel team travels. And so this past weekend, they were in Connecticut. The weekend before that, they were in Massachusetts because we don't have any competitions up here.
Wow.
So we have 1 or 2 tournaments a year here. They're usually at the Waterbury hockey rink. And my proud parent moment was Christian scored in his very first game ever, his real game. And,
wow.
That was really, really, really cool. He put the puck in the net, and he was excited. But Dad cried,
Sure.
It was really an awesome moment.
Of course. This is something that it really needs to grow. You are so passionate about this, and you share that passion with so many others that are part of this. But still, we need to get this thing to shift gears here.
There's nothing we would like more than to have more people come out and try it,
or volunteer and help out,
or volunteer and help out. Yes, yes, it is our passion. I mean, I've done hockey pictures for the Norwich men's and women's teams for years now, and they have always been great with Christian, and it would be great to see, maybe a cadet sled squad.
Yep. Yep.
There is the Ice Vets, which are down in White River or Hartford, which is part of the military group, and we do skate with them periodically, and I believe they will be. There's 4 or 5 players that I believe they will be there on Sunday as well.
Okay. 3:15 at Kreitzberg Arena.
Yes, 3:15 at Kreitzberg. And like I said, there's no cost to get in. Just come on down and take a look.
Bring a cowbell.
Yeah.
Right?
That's fine, yes. Like I said, for Christian, he's all excited. He wears a Norwich hockey jersey to every Norwich game.
Wow.
And he but so he thinks he's wearing his Norwich hockey jersey. We keep telling him, no, you got to wear your team jersey.
Yeah.
Unlike Dad, who's wearing a Norwich fleece today.
Oh my God.
But anyway, yes, come down. I sent out a whole bunch of invites on Facebook, which I have never done, but I just did.
Is your PDF flyer that you have?
Yes.
Is that on Facebook?
It is, yes.
All right. I'm gonna steal that here in just a minute, and we'll get that posted up.
Appreciate it.
How can people get in touch with you? Do you want to give your cell phone number out?
I mean, I can.
What's the best, or email? What's the best way for folks to get in touch with you?
Probably email.
All right. Go for it.
JES.
JES.
Like John Edward Sell.
Yep.
BVT, like Barry, Vermont.
BVT.
At AOL.com.
At AOL.com.
Yep.
All right. So folks can email you. I'm going to put that up in the in the chat right now.
Appreciate it.
Folks can email you and say,
and I really do appreciate this. This, we're trying to get the word out, and we just want people to show up.
Yeah. Show up and have fun.
Yes, that's what it's about. And show these guys that whenever we have an event, it's basically the families and very, very few friends that show up, and there's nothing they would like more than to have people cheering them on.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
So,
I think it's wonderful that you do this, you and Wendy and your whole family. You guys are very well known, but far beyond this, you always impress me as just two people who are great parents. You and Wendy, you're just outstanding parents.
Thank you.
And it's been a long time since I've had you on, but we actually back when I first started this podcast, it was me, you, and Christian that sat down.
Yes, yeah,
Do you remember that?
I do. And I think that one was primarily about his disability and stuff. But since then, he's become a hockey player.
Yes, of course, of course. Thanks for coming in here, brother.
Thank you for having me.
And anything you guys ever have going on, make sure I know about it, and we'll post it up.
Thank you.
All right, stick around. Can you stick around for a little bit?
For a few minutes. Yeah.
All right. I want to give you a heads up here. What's happening at the theaters? If you're planning on getting out to a movie, as I posted up this morning, if there's inclement weather, do keep watch of fgbtheaters.com because they are likely to add additional show times. But playing right now at the Capitol Show plays Beetlejuice at 6:45 tonight. We're going to post this up, this schedule up here. But Lee is playing Let's see, My Old Ass, got to see that. Joker, Wild Robot. Paramount Twin Cinema has Joker and Wild Robot. And again, do watch for additional showtimes. Music news, I see that Oasis has just announced a North American tour to their reunion tour. They just announced, which is amazing. I would love to take Sherilyn to that, but they haven't been touring for 15 years. Prince's Purple Rain House is debuting on Airbnb. I posted that up this morning. And fans that are eagerly awaiting the return of Coldplay are finding resold online tickets for $11,000. Police are now seeking a statement from the show's vendor over allegations of fraud. You think? Wow. Community calendar brought to you by The World. Pick up a fresh copy today of The World, by the way. Yeah, it's out. vt-world.com. We usually get it on a Tuesday, and do look for it. Dinner at the Legion every Tuesday night. 5:30 is when they start serving it up. The American Legion here in Barrie, and then bingo at 6. We got the Barrie Farmers Market tomorrow. On Wednesday, we got Wellness Wednesday, which we talked about this morning at the front of the show from Washington County Mental Health. That's back tomorrow from 4:30 until 7 on Summer Street. We got Wing-a-Ding Wednesday. We got the Capitol going on tonight at 6:30. The Capital Composite Squadron Vermont Wing Civil Air Patrol Open House, where you can learn about aerospace, emergency services, leadership, and more. They've got food and drink, flight simulators, a drone obstacle course, and more. It's happening at 1979 Airport Road in Berlin tonight, beginning at 6:30. Only goes for 2 hours, so get over there. Again, it's free. And a lot more that's happening this weekend. Of course, we have the Milk Bowl. On Saturday, the Barrie Fishing Game Club has their sight-in day from 9 to 3 on Gun Club Road. Whew, lots happening. Also, what's that now?
Hockey on Sunday.
Hockey on Sunday, absolutely, over at the Kreitzberg Arena, starting at 3:15, you said, John, right?
That's correct.
Yes. Halloween at the Central Vermont Marketplace is coming up on the 25th from 4 to 6. Also, the annual Trunk or Treat at Preston's Kia. Same day, Friday the 25th from 4 to 6 with costume prices and lots of food and fun. It's going to be a great time for the kids. Also on the 25th, Carving for Kay in honor of Kay Santamore, where they're asking you to carve or paint a pumpkin and bring it over